When you think of paranormal evidence, you probably think of an image or video of some kind of shadow or apparition. But sometimes paranormal evidence can apparently look like these shorts. Believe it or not, these mild-mannered shorts have had something happen to them that is unexplainable. In fact, some have said that what has happened to them is physically impossible. Go on, take a look. Notice anything strange? Probably not, but that's okay because by the end of this video, you will be an expert. You are going to know everything about these shorts, whether you want to or not. Are these shorts really paranormal evidence, or is there a more rational explanation? Hey there! I'm actually working on a fairly in-depth video about Mr. Beast's Beast Games reality show right now, much to your surprise, I imagine. So I figured the best video to precede a really mainstream pop culture topic like that would be one about paranormal shorts. What can I say? I know how to stay relevant on this website. Now, if you're a cycling enthusiast, you're either mumbling under your breath or screaming at your TV right now that actually this piece of clothing is actually called a cycling bib, or even just a bib for short, which I find hard to say with a straight face. When I think of bibs, I think of babies. But when the cycling community thinks of bibs, they think about an irreplaceable piece of cycling gear. And they speak of it with awe-inspired reverence. Bib shorts. Where have you been all my life? Bib appreciation post. What are the best bibs? I even tried asking Google AI, aren't bibs kind of a silly name? And I guess Google AI is a cyclist too, because it very definitively was like, no, it's not a silly name actually. It perfectly describes the kind of garment it is. All right, fine. I'm wrong. There's nothing funny or silly about a grown adult putting on their bib in the morning, especially when it's a haunted bib. Ooh. This picture was posted to Reddit in 2011 by a user named Your Bathroom with the description, "So I took my bibs out of the dryer this morning and the left suspender is twisted. WTF. I've tried everything I can think of to undo this twist with no success. I can make it worse, but not any better. This is not a joke. I really can't get the twist out and it's frustrating the shit out of me. Any help would be appreciated. Thanks in advance." Whoa. Sounds like he's got a bib problem on his hands. Oh, that's the title of the thread. Your Bathroom, or Kurt as his name appears to be, ended up posting more images of the bib in order to show the issue a little clearer, and even multiple videos showing the twisted bib in motion. Keep in mind that, like I said, this is from 2011, so the video quality is not very good. You have to kind of squint to see what's wrong with the bib. But don't worry about that. People in the replies became so fascinated with this twisted bib that there's dozens of pictures of it from all kinds of different angles. There's even 3D models and hand-drawn illustrations. But probably the best way for me to show you exactly what the issue is to show you on an actual Primal Wear cycling bib, which I have right here. I know that sounded like it was going to be a sponsor intro, but it's not. It would have been a good one, though. Actually, can you imagine if I did that? Check out this haunted bib from today's sponsor. Yeah. Well, this video is actually sponsored by Factor. Factor is a meal delivery service that sends fresh, never frozen, dietitian-approved meals right to your door and ready for you to eat in just 2 minutes. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50Wolfe to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50Wolfe at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Listen, we've all been there. You're hungry, but you don't want to leave the house. As someone with 2 kids under 2, I can relate. That's where Factor comes in. Skip the grocery stores, skip the fast food drive-thru, skip the overpriced takeout. With Factor, you get chef-crafted meals delivered right to your door. There's no prep and no mess, so you have more time to do really important things, like investigate how a cycling bib could get all twisted up like this. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50wolf to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50wolf at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Big thanks to Factor for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the curious case of the paranormal bib. All right, so we have here a primal wear cycling bib that's just like the one that Kurt has in his little Reddit post. Sorry, that sounded really demeaning, his little Reddit post. I just realized how dark it is, so now you can actually see me. The only difference really is the color scheme and that it doesn't have like Reddit on the side for some weird reason. I couldn't find the Reddit cycling bib, so I guess it was a custom job or something. Now, honestly, that kind of made me a little suspicious seeing a Reddit cycling bib. There have to have been only like one of those ever made, and he's got it. Now, I want to make it known, I only got this cycling bib for this video, okay? Not for any other reason. I don't plan on using it. I plan to destroy it when the video's done, okay? So don't get it twisted. Right, but we're gonna take a look at what exactly this stuff is made of, because I want to have a hands-on experience with this and see if there's maybe anything about the bib that's not apparent from the pictures or the videos. All right, so here's how you're supposed to wear it, and I will not model it for you, okay? Nice try. Now, you can see spicier things than that on my Instagram. You wear it with the straps in front and then this in the back, right? So this is the strap that he shows is all twisted, and it's twisted once, twice, 3 times the lady. This is basically how the twist looks, right? But the thing is, it's done without this part happening right here. It looks like this on the bottom, but then it's twisted twice, and then it's straight on top. So this is what makes the twist unnatural, right? Now I brought another visual aid to show you exactly what the problem is. You can do this same example with a belt at home, okay? Just twist the belt. Now, put the belt through the loop and close the loop, okay? Now imagine that this is the bib strap, right? Try as you might, there's really no way to straighten it out once it gets to this state. And this is the state that Kurt's bib is in. No matter where you move the twist, it's always there. The most that you can do is move it to where it's maybe less noticeable, like this. But see, the twist is still up here. The only way to get the twist out of it when it gets to this point is to open the belt loop and straighten it out once it becomes like, you know, like this. Whatever this state of it is called. All right, I never wear belts unless I'm going to a wedding or a funeral, so we're done with that for now. Let's get back to the bib. One thing that I was wondering about the bib is if there was like a material inside the material that could have gotten twisted, but there's not. I mean, it's just, I don't know how well you can see it. I'll maybe show it up close on the camera in another shot, but it's very thin material. There's really no opportunity for anything funky to happen with like the material inside the material or anything like that. Now with that said, once you get past the sort of, I guess, I don't know what you call it, the breathable material in the strap, you get to this kind of smoother material down here, and as far as I can tell, there's no material inside the material here either. But well, what we're going to do is we're going to find out for sure. And I know you cyclists are cringing right now. What's he doing to that bib? Keep the scissors away from the bib! Okay, here we go. I'm cutting through it. I'm looking to see if the material can be separated at all. And it looks like that's unlikely. I should have brought a magnifying glass for this, but really the whole point of examining it like this is to make sure that there's no funny stuff happening with like the bib itself. The material really is just one piece and it's incredibly thin. The breathable material, like I could see my fingers through it. So there'd be no way to like hide anything. And if someone were to cut the material like this and then twist it, right? And then reattach it, that would be so obvious. I mean, you'd have to be a master seamster to get that to where it would be invisible and you wouldn't notice it. It would end up looking kind of like the shoulder strap does where there's a seam, right? Where that's really obvious. I mean, you look at it and you're like, yeah, there's a seam there. So I don't see any way that somebody could cut the strap, twist it, right? And then re-sew it. Like we would sniff that out. With all the angles that Kurt gives for the bib, we would be able to see that easily. And at least one of the shots are in the video at the very least. If you're curious about which bib this is, it's the Men's Helix 2.0 bib. So yeah, some real premium bibbage here. Alright, well, we're done with this. Into the trash it goes. Yeah, I just wanted to cut it up and look at its insides. But the next step is we've got to run it through the dryer and see if we can naturally replicate the circumstances in which it got this impossible tangle. Now you might ask, how are we going to do that when we've got the shoulder strap cut? And you'll be relieved to know that actually I got a second bib, so we have an intact one to still experiment with. I only bought 2 bibs, but Primal was probably freaking out. I'm just imagining them on the phone with each other. They're flying off the shelves! We can't keep up with the demand! We got 2 orders tonight! Buy, 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 sell, sell, sell! So yeah, we're gonna run these through the dryer and we'll see if we can get it twisted. It's time to get twisted.
The beating of the dryer drum droned on in the back of my mind. As the unknowable truth approached, I was filled with increasing dread. Night after night, day after day, for what seemed like an eternity, lulled to sleep by the thrumming of my impending doom. The fateful day arrived. I extracted the bib, and to my horror, it was totally normal, not twisted at all. Yay!
Part of the problem with solving this mysterious twist is that it seems very difficult or even impossible to replicate. I can get the bib all twisted up in the dryer, but it will always naturally untwist. But maybe there's a good reason that we can't replicate the problem. When Kurt cross-posted his bicycling subreddit post to the mathematics subreddit, the mathematicians there were very quick to tell him that this kind of twist is impossible to naturally occur. The twist in question is topologically unremovable, and therefore the fabric itself must have been altered. After stumping both the bicycling and mathematics subreddits, the origin of this twisted bib is left with only a few possibilities. The first possibility is that the way this bib got double twisted is through human interference of some kind. Like this comment theorizes, the fabric must have been altered. The second possibility is that the bib twist is evidence of paranormal activity. Now, if you're wondering what exactly this means, people that support this possibility aren't saying that the bib is haunted. I joked about that a few times in this video, but they were just jokes. There's no spirit or ghost involved. Instead, this follows a more general definition of the word paranormal. Paranormal isn't a term only used in reference to spirits and apparitions. It also describes phenomena that cannot be explained by science. That includes ghosts, but also other stuff like psychokinesis, or, in the case of this bib, a glitch in the matrix. This viral Twitter thread, for example, couches the twisted bib as a unique and bizarre piece of paranormal evidence, saying later in the thread that it's an example of a flaw in reality. I'm not going to say that the 40,000 people who liked this thread all thought that the twisted bib is an example of a paranormal glitch in the matrix, but There were some people replying who said they thought it was scary. "I just got chills," replies Nico. "Unsettling." "Bookmarked," remarks Jimmy. "Oh, I don't like this," protests Moniza. "What a terrifying thing to read right before bed," laments Seto Kaiba. In the minds of these people, it's possible for a cyclist to put a normal bib in the wash, then the fabric of reality randomly glitches, resulting in a twisted bib that is impossible to naturally occur. There's actually a significant number of people out there that believe something like this is possible. There's subreddits just like this one, Glitch in the Matrix, that are dedicated to people's stories of things like meeting people who didn't exist, phone calls from dead family members, people saying they've phased in and out of existence, stuff like that. Personally, I'm of the opinion that most of these are fictional. Kinda reads more like a creepypasta Reddit than anything else. And I'm sure we've all heard of the Mandela effect, where you remember something differently than it actually happened. Like swearing that the Berenstain Bears were spelled with an E rather than an A. These are all examples of phenomena that some people will accept a paranormal explanation for. And, I mean, I get it. Life can be pretty unbelievable sometimes. Like Mark Twain once said, truth is stranger than fiction. I mean, I've experienced the Mandela effect many times, actually. I have false memories of Nelson Mandela dying in prison in like the 1990s, 1980s, when that never happened. I have false memories of the Berenstain Bears being spelled differently. And I have false memories of seeing actress Shirley Temple portray Little Orphan Annie. I could have sworn that the actor Sinbad portrayed a genie in a kids movie called Shazam. And yeah, Shaquille O'Neal portrayed a genie in a movie called Kazam, but that was a different movie, okay? It was a rival movie. But actually, no such Sinbad genie film exists. The unreliability of our memories is hard to come to grips with when there's no proof. You might start coming up with conspiracy theories, like that I'm from the Berenstain dimension, and at some point I unwittingly glitched into the Berenstain universe. Because that would explain why I remember something that never existed. But the catch with that is that there's all kinds of examples of collective misremembering that have definitive proof. Like famous movie quotes, for example. I could have sworn that Darth Vader said, "Luke, I am your father," in Star Wars, but he doesn't.
"No, I am your father."
Chris Farley in Tommy Boy is the one that popularized the misquoted line.
"Luke, I am your father."
I've interrupted happy time.
The evil queen in Snow White never says, "Mirror, mirror on the wall."
Magic mirror on the wall.
Ingrid Bergman never says, "Play it again, Sam," in Casablanca.
Play it, Sam.
But it's not just movie quotes we sometimes misremember. I am telling you, I remember Vice Presidential candidate Sarah Palin saying, "I could see Russia from my house in Alaska." But she didn't. That was Tina Fey on Saturday Night Live.
And I can see Russia from my house.
So, I'm a fan of the superhero satire show The Boys, and I especially like doing an unflattering impression of one of the lead characters, a certain Billy Butcher, portrayed by Carl Urban. Mild spoilers for The Boys, but it's important for my story. Billy's ex-wife had a child with this awful superhero named Homelander, and Homelander was continuing a relationship with Billy's ex-wife despite her not wanting anything to do with him. So Billy's been like spying on Homelander and seeing what he's up to. Anyway, one of my friends and I were talking about the show, and we started doing Billy Butcher impressions at each other. And at one point, I remember a scene from the show where one of the other characters was asking Billy, after one of his little spy sessions, about how Homelander was doing. And Billy responded with, "Homelander, he's just great. He's having breakfast with me wife." My friend and I thought this direct quote was so funny. We would just start quoting it to each other. "What'd you do this weekend? Did Did you have breakfast with me, wife? You know, just stupid banter like that. And all this time, we thought we were quoting an actual scene from the show. So imagine my surprise when I rewatched the show with me wife, funnily enough, and we watched the very first episode, catch all the way up to present day, and Billy Butcher never says anything about Homelander having breakfast with his wife. We made up that scene together. Imagined what Billy would probably say in that situation, and then gaslit ourselves into thinking it actually happened. We call the incident Breakfastgate. Homelander. He never had breakfast with me wife after all. So anyway, back to the twisted bib. Kurt insists that the bib was completely normal before it was put in the wash, and that he even wore it a few times. And he totally would have noticed if it was twisted, because he's very particular about that kind of thing. Kurt's claim that the dryer randomly twisted the bib like this is the key to the whole intrigue. And the rational explanation for this is that Kurt is either being deceptive or he's mistaken. Let's put this part to rest. This twist is impossible to naturally occur in the dryer. It just is. What isn't impossible is that the twist was already there from a manufacturing defect, and it was shipped to Kurt in this state. He simply didn't notice it until taking it out of the dryer. It's also possible that the twist was present, but not in as noticeable a place like the left strap. As Kurt demonstrates in this video, you can actually move the twist to a different area of the bib. Up on the shoulder, for example. I know Kurt said he would have noticed the twist because he's very particular, and no offense, but I also think I would have noticed if they spelled Berenstein with an A for some unholy reason. Here's another possibility. A lot of people analyzing this situation have theorized that maybe Kurt's girlfriend or someone else decided to prank him by pulling the bib out of the dryer, cutting the shoulder strap, twisting it twice, then sewing it back together. And I like where their head's at, but just looking at this thing, I feel like we would see exactly where it was sewn back on because it would be really obvious. Finally, there's the very easy and unfun possibility that Kurt is simply trolling. He got a defective bib, he decided to have some fun before he returned it for a new one, which is what he ended up doing, actually. The cursed bib is Primal Ware's problem now, or the local junkyard. Actually, I hear that Primal locked the flawed reality bib away under lock and key, much like the haunted Annabelle doll. Now, whether the mysterious case of the twisted bib was a result of a lie, a prank, or, as I think is most likely, an undetected manufacturing defect, I would go with any of those three possible explanations before I would even consider a paranormal one. Sometimes things happen that we can't explain in the moment, and even for years afterwards, we might still not be able to explain exactly what happened. But just because we don't have the evidence to support a rational explanation doesn't automatically make it rational to support an explanation with no evidence. And with that, who's looking forward to the next video on Beast Games? Woo! Yeah, Mr. Beast! Are you subscribed? Mr. Beast lies awake at night, wondering why you haven't subscribed. He wakes up in a cold sweat over it. He actually has two tickers on his ceiling. One with his YouTube sub count and the other with the global population. And all he wants in life is for the two numbers to be equal. Either way, only then can he rest. All right, well, I'm looking forward to talking about his show.